I'm Dan St.Yves, and for today I believe I'm doing my first ever husband and wife interview.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Actor George Wendt and his wife, Bernadette Birkett, also an actress. And you're here at the time of this interview in Calgary for a show that's going to open in about a week at Stage West Calgary, Fox On The Fairway.
Yes.
What can you tell us without giving away too much about Fox On The Fairway?
It's unabashedly a straight up sort of old school sex farce set in a country club and a golf tournament.
Uh-huh.
And I understand, I kind of suspected as much when I saw that it was a farce, but your director, J. Sean Elliott, you've had a chance now to work with him for a few days.
Yeah.
How's that experience been?
Oh, it's just terrific. Yeah, he really has a great gift with, guiding you to the right moments, I think. And
Yeah, just high shtick, just
so much fun.
just working with him as a director makes me want to see him on stage because I'm sure he's just unchained, on stage.
I first saw him as an actor, and since then my experience with him has been a director, but he's single-handedly bringing the farce to main stage here. So it's great to see that you guys are getting to experience that, especially for your trip here to Calgary.
Yeah.
You two met way back in
Way
Second City.
back.
Yeah, Second City in Chicago in 75.
I read something online that you didn't exactly join the company straight away. You kind of got into it.
Oh, me, yeah. That story's been going around, and it's true. I was invited to, after taking the workshops for about a year, I was invited to join the cast of the children's show, which ran Sunday afternoons at 2:30 at Second City on the main stage there. And the night porter didn't come in until shortly before the show to clean up before the show. So the kids, they were gonna, just be sitting there amongst cigarette butts and empty cocktail glasses or half-empty cocktail glasses. So my job was to sweep up and tidy the place, but it worked out.
And happily for all of your fans.
Yeah.
Didn't Josephine hand you the broom and say, welcome to show business?
Welcome to the theater.
Welcome to the theater.
Yeah.
When you two met, who made the first move?
Well, we worked together.
Yeah, we worked together. So it just organically evolved without any movement really being required. I mean, we were in this company, and George had two roommates, both of whom were worked at Second City, and one of them was our stage manager, and we would come back from work and be at the Energy Center, and which
That was our apartment.
an ironic name for their apartment because no one rose before 2 in the afternoon. So we come back from the theater, stop at the Energy Center, and I lived a few blocks away, and I'd be going to walk home, and George was kind of flirting with me, and he'd say, "Oh, I'll walk you home," and then our stage manager would say, "I'll come too." So there was just like no room for any kind of romance or anything, and finally, one evening after we came back from working at Ravinia, which is this big, outdoor venue in suburbs of Chicago, he was busy at this bar, and George walked me home, and that was July 4th, 1976, and we've been together ever since.
Man.
That's it.
Yeah, but it's there's really no one else to consider dating when you work in an ensemble like Second City because it's so time consuming and our hours are completely the opposite of the rest of civilization. And Second City men are usually, ne'er-do-wells, class clowns, a bunch of wiseacres. And when we meet these Second City women, they're usually really, really cute and really, really funny. So it's just,
Yes, no normal adult person would want to date anyone that had the kind of hours that we have. You say to someone, well, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? Weekends are out of the question, and so just Monday is the only available day.
Monday is the day when everybody else It's like, I'll be calling him on my day off. My friends, hey, you want to do something? Oh man, I blew it out this weekend. I'm gonna chill.
It's a funny thing because I talk about this frequently with actors, especially in Canada, because the country's so big and they have to go.
But you have
from
Sundays off, don't you, for the most part?
most part, and sometime Mondays. But traditionally, the dark days in the States are a little bit different here for entertainers. But it's something for you folks that have worked together for so long that's probably been an advantage. Like the average person kicks one or the other out of the bed in the morning and then gets on with their day. But has that been a benefit to be able to spend so much time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't really. This is a kind of a new phenomena in this stage of our relationship, because so often, because we live in Los Angeles and because of the way the entertainment industry is structured out there, unless you have a show, which George was blessed to have for 11 years, and I had for a little over 4 years, a straight regular, you're a regular character on a sitcom, that's like, you're there and that's where you work and live. Not that George would, and even myself, would sometimes be on the road during hiatus. But once that's over, you're on the road. I mean, he spends there. At one point, he did art first in London, then New York, then back to London again, and he was gone the better part of 2 years. He had only been home. He'd been home less than a month in that total 2-year period. The same with doing Hairspray on Broadway for over 1.5 years, and then immediately within weeks back to Canada, Prince Edward Island, and then and so that's the way it is, and you accept it.
Basically, when I'm at home, I'm out of work.
Yeah.
So when I'm working, it's somewhere
Best thing in the world.
Except you will be home for a prolonged period of time, because you will be
months.
working. You'll be back home working.
Or out of work for several months, and then I'm really home. Oh boy, am I home. I don't leave the house home.
Well, you've both been blessed with spectacular careers, and Bernadette, you've been on either TV or in movies since the early '80s.
Since the beginning of time.
I hate to say veteran actress because that just
No, it's the truth.
but it's a fortunate thing to be able to say. St. Elmo's Fire on TV with its Gary Chandling show, and Newhart, and some show I wasn't familiar with, Cheers.
That one.
But it's just one of those things that your background was with starting off in improv. Did you want to do more live, or were you just happy to see some of these successes taking place?
Well, the truth is, you're always blessed with having work. That's, it's pretty wonderful. But I never stopped working with live theater companies all the time. Even when I was on a series, even when I was on a series, I worked with a company called Off the Wall, and before that, the Comedy Store Players, both of which were where Robin Williams began with us, and we worked. I at one point was working with 3 improv companies at the same time as I was on a series, so that never went away. So I always continued to get sort of that, infusion of working in live theater the entire time.
It's interesting because I know I read online that you've done some work with Comic Relief, so it sounds like you've both had Robin Williams touch your life. Is this the sort of thing that kind of... It's funny because you always hear that side of, you've done a lot of humor and comedy in your careers, but Garrison Keillor's famous for saying that you have to have had a horrible childhood and no happy person can do comedy, but I don't know, is that the case, or?
I don't know, you can always find something horrible in your life and find
to draw on it.
Yeah, to draw on, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, it's certainly, I think it's one of the Murrays that says that improvisational comedy was a way for the Irish to
Irish Catholics to get out of the ghetto.
As opposed
Boxing.
to, like athletes pulling themselves out of their pulling themselves away from their cultural destiny, I guess. So for us, I don't know. I mean,
not things. We all have horrible things in our lives.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. It didn't really sound like Robin had horrible things in his life.
He didn't. He had a very
chemical issue.
a profound sense of sensitivity. And that goes in every direction. You have to be a very sensitive person to be able to be that connected and that spontaneous. And so the downside of that is, you are that sensitive, and so other things kind of get magnified, I think.
Speaking of connection, that's something that you've kind of led. It's funny how this always works out, that you folks lead into what I'm hoping to ask you. You're both from Chicago, and that kind of takes me back to something I was remembering of another recurring character in your career. I'm trying to avoid the one that I've seen some of the media you've done already here.
Yeah.
Your character Bob Swirsky on SNL. How much of a love for Chicago do you share with that character?
Oh, well, complete. They're obviously buffoons, the characters themselves. But I've been so incredibly lucky to have probably two of my most memorable roles are as a guy who looked like he wanted to have a beer, and that I can do, and as a guy who wants to eat Polish sausage, drink beer, and root for the Bears and the Bulls. I've been very lucky with that.
Well, I'm really looking forward. I haven't seen the show yet, so I'll be doing the review, and can't wait to see you two in a J. Sean Elliott farce, no less.
Yeah.
So continued success in your rehearsals, and I look
Thanks.
forward to opening day. It was wonderful meeting you.
You too.
Lovely to meet you as well.
Thank you so much.